A new interesting media story arose, where else, on Twitter yesterday when Gawker posted an article, now since taken down, accusing Thomas Chatterton Williams, who is an infamous kind of intellectual dark web figure, one of the signers, I think the organizer of the famous Harper's Letter that drew a lot of ire from all kinds of political corners of the internet. It was accusing him of having attended the What is a Woman documentary, if you want to call it that, which has gotten a lot of critique from the left for transphobia.
I thought it was an Alex Jones documentary.
Oh, it was an Alex Jones documentary? I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But he was not, in fact, there. The story.
He wasn't there, and he wasn't there at all.
He wasn't there. The story was based on the idea that other kind of maligned political actors, one of the hosts of the Red Scare podcast had tweeted a tweet, and the association was because she had tweeted a picture of him, that he was actually there. And so they ended up writing this whole article up, making fun of him for attending an event which they felt like confirmed his right-wing priors, I think was the idea.
And I don't even, and first of all, Glenn Greenwald was there, I think doing I think he interviewed Alex Jones. I don't, you attend a movie premiere, you don't necessarily agree with the politics.
Sure.
It might be about the censorship or restrictions on Alex Jones, which you might think are improper, even if everything Alex Jones says is crazy, which it is. Alex Jones is crazy, or the things he says is crazy. He might even know he's crazy. It seems like a performance sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any problem if he did go to the thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He wasn't there.
He didn't go. So Thomas Chatterton Williams tweeted, "This article is insane and just a lie. Gawker has been harassing me for months now, and I just ignore it because it's not real journalism, but this has to be retracted. I never even heard of this movie until now and wasn't anywhere near Austin at the premiere." And what I thought was actually more interesting about this is that apparently Gawker has a list of people that are kind of sanctioned for them to beat up on for article grist. And Thomas Chatterton Williams is on that article, the list of people. It's called the Staff Guidelines, and it's under the heading Gawker Religious Texts. And it offers a pretty predictable set of targets. The category of, quote, people we can make fun of includes the obvious targets, celebrities, royals, and politicians, as well as New York Times, they call left-wing Twitter bugaboos Glenn Greenwald and Thomas Chatterton Williams. Now, it will come as some surprise to leftists to necessarily characterize, I think I like Thomas a lot. I wouldn't call him a leftist, but it shows kind of the extent to which this is like,
they hate Barry
kind of
Weiss, they hate intellectual dark web type people.
Yeah.
In fact, criticize those people if you disagree with them.
Engage with their arguments.
But they're just, Gawker, of course, has an ethos of just unrelenting cruelty.
Yeah.
They in their previous incarnation, they were both more cruel and more relevant, I guess. They had a moment of, more than a moment, longer than a moment, of incredible political relevance. They did occasionally some good journalism, to be fair.
I enjoyed a lot of it.
I'm not sure I would say I enjoyed a lot of it. I think some of it was just so unbelievably soulless, unnecessary, vile, in fact. And then they were shut down after losing a lawsuit, which there's some interesting free speech discussion to be had about it, but it was they were basically engaged in revenge porn on some level. And the outing of whoever's brother it was, they published at one point a video of just a woman being sexually assaulted in a restroom.
The Hulk Hogan.
No, that was something. That was what actually took them down. Yeah. But they just published. It was just a random woman, not a woman of any significance. It's a video of her drunk having a sexual encounter in a bathroom, and they just published the video of it. There was no news. It was so bad. And then when her father messaged, was like, please take this down. Their impulse was to defend it and was to say, no, she's just kind of got to live with this.
Yeah, well, look, it's a shame because there were a number of writers in the Gawker, Jezebel universe that had many, many sites that I really enjoyed, and I used to return to read their writings and then participate in the comment section quite actively back in my pre-Twitter days. But this just takes the cake. I don't understand how you're trying to reestablish yourself as a journalistic enterprise when you have a mistake of this caliber, and then to find out that the mistake likely happened because there's a literal hit list of people that you're encouraged to go after. I generally don't encourage litigious responses to these kinds of things, but I see that Thomas Chatterton Williams is considering it here, and if there's a case, this is a good
not
one.
there. I don't usually relive but this is my first ever sort of media scandal I was involved in was when Jezebel called me. Yes, baby's first scandal. Jezebel called me an idiot. I just pulled it. Is the UVA rape story a gigantic hoax? Ask idiot. I'm the idiot they're referring to. Shortly thereafter, it was in fact shown to be a hoax.
Oh boy, yeah, that's the kind of liberal.
They apologized to me for that. It's fine, and I didn't care at all. But it was funny. It was the same kind of.
What's the statute of limitations on it, Robbie? Because between your lawsuit and
I would never sue if it's and calling me an idiot isn't. You could think that about me. It's
right.
Not.
I mean, you have to prove it's.
They didn't say I was
Robbie.
somewhere. I was. But it's different than saying someone is somewhere they're not, which that is a factual distinction.
Right.
Just opinion is not, even if the opinion is dumb. But yeah, good old Gawker glory days.
Opinion is dumb, really.
Right. But as something that Jesse Singal, another kind of independent reporter, hosts a podcast that's really good, Blocked and Reported. He pointed out that if this was the maliciousness, the sneering with which Gawker would cover someone not in their protective bubble of people they like. What if one of those figures, what if Glenn Greenwald had written an article accusing someone of being somewhere that they weren't actually? Think of what a big deal they'd make, how indicative of that person they would make it.
Yep.
But they just did it, and it's
This story happened according to Thomas Chatterton Williams. So many names. Because he says, this is a quote from that tweet thread, it seems to me this reporter simply did her research by looking at Anna Kay's Instagram stories, the Red Scare co-host, and mistakenly assuming we were in the same place because she reposted a story of me wearing a very funny Red Scare t-shirt. Beyond pathetic. So someone who was there just retweeted it, posted a picture of him wearing a shirt from her podcast. And that was the link. That was the sleuthing. That was the journalism that got. First of all, that wouldn't even be article worthy, just to be really clear. But to the extent that it could have been true, it just wasn't even. So this is where we are.
We're gonna get on the people it's okay to mock list of Gawkers one day.
Oh, if we're not already there.
We're not already there. All right, more Rising in just a minute. Stay tuned.